What's up, everybody? Welcome back to my channel. TammyTalks here. Alright, so super off base for me, but I actually want to do a reaction video to House of the Dragon Season 1, Episode 1. So, for those of you that are brand new to my channel, I do breakdowns of various TV shows, both scripted and reality, interjecting my own thoughts, opinions, and theories into each and every recap. So, if you enjoy that type of content, go ahead, hit that subscribe button, thumbs up the video, and then hop into the comment section, y'all. So, Game of Thrones, fell in love with it. So, when they announced that they were going to do a prequel, House of the Dragon, I was all in, super excited to hear the backstory of the House of Targaryen, right? So, okay. Because I didn't take notes. Because I wanted to just watch it and enjoy it. And I said I would just do like true reactions to this. So this might be, it's not going to be super detailed. I kind of want to keep this super light and airy and that type of stuff while still touching on some kind of key moments that I thought were key moments, at least from the episode. So the episode starts off and we see Princess Rhaenyra, and she is riding on one of the dragons. Princess Rhaenyra is right now, she's the sole child of King Viserys. I hope I'm saying their names right. King Viserys and the queen who's Rhaena, something like that. So, even though she is the only child of the king right now, because she is a female, okay, because she is a girl and they have never had a queen, she is not rightfully the heir to the throne. So we get a little backstory on how Viserys became the king. So there was let me see if I can find her name. I don't think I'm gonna be able to pull it up. But there is the woman. Damn it, I should have wrote her name down. But they refer to her as the queen that never was. So when she got kind of glossed over and Viserys got picked, you can tell that she still has some resentment. I mean, they call this lady the queen that never was. That alone would piss me off. Because don't refer to me as the queen that never was. Don't do that. If I didn't become queen, I didn't become queen. All right, don't do that. But we see a little bit more about Rhaenyra. So, she's playing like typical. I'm putting typical in air quotes, but she's playing like the typical young princess role where while she is a princess, the princess of the throne right now, she doesn't want to, grow up to just be a kept princess by someone else. She wants to be out there in battle. We see her riding the dragon, but she's very concerned about her mother who is currently pregnant. Now, the king is hoping that she will have, that this next child that she's going to have is finally going to be a son because he wants an heir to the throne. Now, if there's a scene where she's taking a bath, she's relaxing, and she says that this is it. She said this is it. She has gone through and buried 5 children, 2 stillborns, 2 miscarriages. She's gone through all of this. She has buried 5 children in about 10 years. So she said this is it. She apologizes if she cannot give you a son, but this is the last one. The last one. And you can tell that the king truly loves his wife because he's looking at her like, damn it. I know. So we pan over and we meet Daemon, okay? Daemon is the king's younger brother who is out now doing like the city watch. So they out there getting amped up. They getting hype, right? They getting hype. We out here, when I first met y'all was trash. Y'all wasn't nothing. Now y'all are a pack of hounds. They howling and barking and carrying on. They said we gonna go to the city, okay? And we gonna get shit back in order. So they go out to the city, and if you are a rapist, they're cutting off your little, your little situation. If you're a thief, they're cutting off your hand. If you're a murderer, they're kind of killing people in the same way that they killed people. So they are wreaking havoc in the street by taking care of everybody that has committed a crime and making sure they are rightfully paid because there's too much crime going on in the city right now. And the king doesn't need that. So back at the castle, the council is like, your brother tripping. We cannot have this. This is not what we want to happen. All right? Not what we're gonna have happen. Daemon Targaryen said, I took care of it. I don't know what y'all want, but nobody's gonna come up in here acting a fool again. All right? But if y'all want me to stop, you know what I mean? He was like, I'm not gonna fight y'all on this. So we get a tournament in the first episode, which I was a little shocked about. But they have a tournament which is supposed to celebrate the birth of the king's heir, because he's very, very convinced that he's going to be having a son. So right as the tournament starts, we find out that the queen is now in labor. So they're all celebrating. Everybody's anticipating this is going to be a boy. This is going to be an heir to the throne. So we see little Rhaenyra, who's always late, comes scuffling in, sitting next to who I can presume is like her little girlfriend. Could just be like her best friend, but I'm getting like, I like you a little bit more than that type of vibes from her. But we'll see what's going to happen with that. So during the tournament, we see like the true brutal fighting that we came to love in Game of Thrones. So Daemon Targaryen is out doing it, okay? He's taking everybody down, but it does look like he lost at the end, but he doesn't die. So I guess because he's the king's brother, he doesn't have to, he doesn't have to lose his life per se if he dies. So while all of this is going on, the king's hand gets, a little whisper in his ear. He turns and tells the king something. The king goes back into the birthing quarters where Rhaena is getting ready to give birth. The baby is breech. Now, this is back in the olden times. So they don't have the type of technique and the machines and all that stuff to, help turn the baby the way that we're able to do now here in 2022, right? So while that's all going on, they're telling Mellows is kind of like probably, one of the medical people. He's talking to the king and he tells the king, look, we're running out of time. There are some people up at the Citadel that have found a technique where we can cut the stomach and get the baby out. I said, I know they are not going to do a C-section on this woman with no anesthesia, no type of whatever. I said, Lord have mercy. My stomach, my body began to hurt because y'all are about to cut this lady open. Y'all are about to cut this lady open. I said, what? So the king is being told that either they're both going to die or we can try to save the baby. But without fail, your wife is going to die. So the king is like, okay, well, if we can at least save the baby, let's save the baby. Okay? Let's try to save the baby. So next thing you know, they were so rough. They were so absolutely rough. So the king makes the decision and he tells Rhaena, we're going to get the baby out now. And she's like, oh, Lord Jesus, thank you. But how? So all of a sudden, they like pull her legs down. They're holding her arms and stuff up because they are getting ready to cut her wide open. I could not. I am super, super squeamish. So I'm sitting there like, don't do it. I can't watch him do it. And she is screaming, and you can just see how she's kind of looking at the king like, why are you letting this happen? You can tell she's scared. Like, it was just so many emotions in that room. You can tell that he felt completely awful about it. It's such a fucking brutal way to die. To be cut down your stomach, she could feel everything. So you're cutting into her, then you're pulling her stomach open, her abdomen open, so that you can pull this baby out. She's gushing, bleeding out, and you can see the pain just all over the king as he's crying. And then we find out that she's passed away. She's passed away. So then they're holding the baby, and the way that he look at the baby and kind of like, come on now. I said, I'd be damned if that baby is dead too. So then they're back at the tournament, and everybody's just, so everybody's whispering in everybody's ear, people gathering their kids and getting up and leaving. I said, oh, that's it. And you can tell that Rhaenyra, you can tell that she knew. She's a super intelligent little girl. Earlier in the episode, when her friend was like trying to quiz her, telling her, you never know, you might not get a brother, you might get a sister, and you might, legit become the queen at some point. She was able to rattle off that shit back of her hand. She knows her stuff. So the next thing we get is the funeral. And we see the queen is now wrapped up. And the camera pans down and we see a little baby. I said, Lord, I knew that baby died. I knew that baby died. Oh, I felt so bad. I felt so bad because not only... Oh, and he did have a son named Braylon. So after all of that, the king did finally get his son, but then the baby died. So not only is your wife dead, but this baby has passed away, and you caused your wife a more painful, horrific death than it had to be. But I mean, that's a decision that people have to make now. In 2022, there are decisions, not as brutal as this, but where husbands have to make a decision, we might be able to save the baby, or we save your wife, or they both are going to go. And that is such a terrible decision, a terrible position for anybody to have to be in. Nobody wants to be in that situation where you have to be the one to make that decision. You just don't. So Rhaenyra has to be the one to get the dragon to, cremate the bodies. And I'm like, this is a little girl. So much. I'm like, but this is a little girl. So then the council calls this emergency meeting because now that the king doesn't have an heir and he doesn't have a wife to give him another heir, we got to find out who is going to be your true heir. Now, logically, based on how their stuff is going, it's going to be Daemon. The council doesn't want Daemon. The black man, the brother with the dreads, I got his name. He wants his wife, who is Lord Corlys. He wants his wife, who is the queen that never was, and everybody is like, boy, bye. Your wife is not going to be queen no more. That ship has sailed. Been there, done that, got a t-shirt, ain't doing it again. All right? So don't even go that way. The king is feeling like it should be Daemon. The rest of the council was like, no, he's hot-headed, he's impulsive, we don't know what he's going to do or how he's going to lead us when he's too unpredictable. They then start to say that, he might even, try to, if you die rather naturally or by design, meaning if somebody comes in and purposely tries to take you out. So the king is like, my brother would absolutely never do this. And I'm sitting, so then they say, well, then your next, logical heir is going to be Rhaenyra. So then he's getting attacked, and he's like, you know what? I'm not going to do this shit with y'all. I just buried my wife and my son. We're not going to sit here and argue. Absolutely not. Now, Daemon is on the outside listening to everything that's going on, right? Eavesdropping. So because Daemon kind of feels away, Daemon hears, oh, I might be king. Oh, yeah? Oh, what? But y'all don't want me. Okay, cool. So Daemon goes and rents out, looks like a brothel for the night, and he's up in there toasting to himself as being heir for the day. I said, Daemon. This ain't it. So the king gets word of it, and he summons Daemon to come in. He's talking to Daemon, and he's like, did you really call yourself heir of the day? Address me as your grace. We're not going to do this little pity pat whatever, because now you're talking to the king, not your brother, okay? Don't get it twisted. You are still talking to the king. So Damon admits that, yeah, we all grieve in our own type of way. So the king kind of felt like, you weren't there for me, you weren't there for Rhaenyra, you weren't there for your niece, who it looks like he had a very close relationship with before. Like, I think they have a good relationship. But he's like, you weren't there for either one of us, so you can go on back to we're going back to where you should be with your wife. At once, I don't want to see you. Don't want to see you no more. So we see him saddle up his dragon and he takes off. The king's hand sends in his daughter in his wife's dress to basically go, I guess, kind of seduce the king so that maybe he would, be so filled with grief that he'll sleep with this little girl. I said, sir. And I did like how Damon did check his brother, though. And he checked the king, and he was like, you didn't even ask me to be your hand because I would look out for you more than any of these other people because you're weak. And I know the king took it the wrong way, but it's basically like, I'm gonna make sure that nobody gets over on you. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna make sure that nobody gets over on you. I will be the one to make sure that no one's out fucking with you in the way that you're getting taken advantage of. And then here we are right away with the king's hand sending his daughter in. So then finally the king is sitting around and he has his daughter summoned in. And Rhaenyra is like, you ain't talked to me since the funeral. Now you summon me. You asking me about dragons and whatnot. And he's like, it's important. When you look at the dragons, what do you see? And they go through this history lesson. And it's like Rhaenyra catches on right away because the little girl is smart. And she realizes that the reason that her father was talking to her about this and asking her, what do you see when you see the dragons? What do you see when you look at this? Is because he's going to make her his heir. He said he spent so much time waiting for a boy, when he should have been trying to groom his own daughter. So at the end of the episode, she gets formally recognized, whatever it's called, installation, coronated is when you actually become the king. But she gets sworn in, I'll say, as the heir to the throne. And you can just see the queen that never was seething. Because she should have been the first queen. So she is seething. And you see some of these other houses, like the House of Stark, that man was looking like... What? So you can see that a lot of them, while they take this pledge and this oath, that they're going to respect not only King Viserys, but they're going to respect Queen Rhaenyra as his heir. They're not happy about it. They are not happy about it. This was a great season opener, full of action. We got backstory. We got just enough that makes you want to come back next week to keep on finding out what's going to happen. What a great episode. Let me know what you guys thought about it down below, and I will catch you guys in the next one.